Hey everyone, welcome back. It's day 2 of deer season, summer chores up at the family farm. I just loaded up a bunch of water in the buckets in the Jeep. I'm just going to carry it in with 5-gallon buckets. I'm going to fill up the water hole that I dug in last night. And I want to set up a mock scrape, cut a couple more shooting lanes, make sure everything else is good. I got some accessory hooks I'm going to go put up in the tree by the stand. I'm going to hang 2 or 3 trail cameras in here. And then I have a bunch of other trail cameras that I'm going to hang around the farm. We'll jump on the ATV and go hang some trail cameras for some summer scouting. This is where I'm going to try to dig in the water hole. So just going to clear everything off and rake it out first. I really like this little Black & Decker 18 or 40 volt trimmer, and I got a trimmer and a hedge trimmer and a leaf blower, 3-piece combo, but the batteries last for a long time, so it's nice when I'm doing things like this to just grab a battery powered one. I don't have to worry about smelling like gas, mixing gas and oil together and hauling that inside my Jeep. It's just nice to throw in the trimmer and a couple batteries and go. When I'm driving back to my grandparents, I bring the chargers with me too, so I can charge them up at night again, charge the batteries up at night again. I don't know how hard this is going to be to dig in here. I brought a limb lopper with me too, and I'm sure I'm going to hit 1,000 roots. I'm hoping that since it rained a couple times this last week up here, that might be a little softer than normal. I think that's about where it's going to end up. So I'm going to start digging it out. It's going pretty good so far. I only found a couple small roots. I cut those out. I'm down about maybe 8 inches on one side and another close to a foot on the other side. I just hit some more roots on that side, so I'm going to have to dig around them and cut those out too. But I've only been working on it for about maybe 20 minutes or a half hour, so I was really hoping this wouldn't be a 4-hour project. Just spent a lot of time today being picky about which tree I wanted to put the stand in. That kind of slowed things down. I suppose it's better to be picky in the beginning and get it right than it is to, or hopefully get it right, than it is to rush. Just pick any old tree and then not be happy with it later. At least if something's wrong with the setup later, it won't be for lack of being picky in the beginning. You know, need to get to about right here to get the tank buried completely, so just gonna keep going and see if I can get it done in time to go do a little scouting also. Be nice to Get in the Jeep after I get this done, turn the air conditioner on, and have something cold to drink, and get the camera out, see if I can find a green field somewhere and watch deer. It's been about maybe an hour. So since I started digging, I just put the tub in to test it. It looks like it's sticking up about 2 inches or so. So I'm gonna actually pull it back out. See if I can get a couple more inches of dirt out of the bottom of the hole. I think there's just a high spot in the middle right here. That looks pretty close. I don't know that I want to go very much lower because I won't be able to fill up the sides. If I get the lip all the way down, I want to be able to push a little dirt in the sides. So. When I was digging this, I was trying to keep everything around it in a circle as much as I could, just so I could backfill with some of it once I got done. And I'm actually going to take the rest of this dirt and make kind of a bowl shape, so when it rains, it'll help fill this up. Hopefully I won't have to come out and fill it all the time. I am going to fill it the first time just to get it started. I'll do that tomorrow. This is actually going to be the first water hole I ever put in like this, like tank like this. We're pretty lucky on this farm where most of the property has ponds or streams, or there's probably a couple of spots where we could have a little better hunting somewhere if we put a water hole back in a dry bedding area or something. But I also want to do a little scouting this evening while I'm up here. So that's the water hole so far. I'm actually going to put a couple logs over it so nothing runs into it in the middle of the night on accident. I just filled up 2 5-gallon buckets of water and then these 2 bigger buckets, and I'm actually just going to go dump these in the water hole, and then I'm going to use these to transfer the water from the bigger buckets to the tub. So I'm going to get started. It was a full moon last night, so I used some of those lighter colored branches right there to cover up that water hole for the night. I was hoping that deer would see them and not step in it in the middle of the night in the dark. But I'm pretty sure that I made enough noise in here all day yesterday and left enough human scent that there wasn't a ton of deer hanging around here last night. But one of the reasons I wanted to try and do this weekend is I had the time off to do it, but it's also supposed to rain 2 or 3 times in the next 4 or 5 days, so that's good to get in and get some of that stuff done, and then just let the rain wash your scent away, so you don't. Takes a little less time, I think, for the deer to calm back down and come back into the area. But that's a look at the whole water hole dug in, and that's the tree stand right there. So hopefully it'll work out well for the next 5 or 10 years that we can come in and shoot some deer off of this water hole. I just got back with a second load of water for the water hole. I actually saw a pretty decent buck up on the field up here, a couple 100 yards up from the where I've been parking. So he just kind of went back into the shelter belt. It's still early. He doesn't have all of his antlers yet, but looked like he was going to be a pretty decent buck. That's exciting. Maybe I'll get some trail camera pictures of him down here drinking out of the water hole. It's like we're getting pretty close to full. This is just about the end of the third load of water. I picked up some of this Domain Hot Chick food plot seed when I was at Shields. It says a hearty mix of chicory and clover to provide long-lasting attraction in the spring, summer, and fall. The reason I picked this up is it says a hearty mixture of pH-tolerant, cold-season perennials that last several years. Provide forage for your deer and turkey. I've had a lot of luck growing hickory and clover kind of in these shelter belts. There's not a ton of sunlight in here. It only gets about maybe 4 hours of sunlight every day. As you can see, there's The sun's shining on the water hole right now, but it won't be in about an hour probably. So I'm actually just gonna spread some around this water hole and then reclaim that, build up some, move in some brush and stuff, put some leaves in it so it looks a little more natural. And then I'm gonna spread just a little bit of this seed just kind of through the shelter belt from here down to where that fence is before the cornfield down there. So just I'm gonna hit some of the open areas. Figured if it takes off, it takes off. I didn't go through and spray anything yet. I'm gonna kind of watch this stuff on trail cameras this summer. It's the first time I've ever bought it. I'm gonna watch it on my trail cameras this summer, see if it takes off a little bit, and if it does, then I'll probably come in here next spring and spray and rake up a bunch of leaves and deadfall and pick up a bunch more branches and see if I can get it to come in a little bit thicker, a little bit better. But since it's such a small area, I'm just kind of spreading it out by hand. I didn't want to use a spreader and get a bunch of it in the water hole, you know. I'm gonna start reclaiming the water hole right here. And the reason I wanted to put down the food plot seed before I started going around and moving branches and stuff around is then hopefully when I'm walking around it, I'll just compact the soil a little bit. I don't really want this to feel like they're putting their head in a hole. I don't want to put too much stuff around it, but I do want to weigh down that branch so the critters can get out. I'd actually just put another little branch in there too. That'll just sink down as the water level drops. I do want to make sure that I put some stuff back on this side because I don't want them to come in from that side to drink in the water hole. If they're drinking in the water hole, I want them to drink on these three sides of it because that's going to give me a shot of that tree stand. So I want to make sure I'm controlling what sides of the water hole they get a drink from. When I was cleaning up, I kind of saved this branch because it's got all these leaves on it still. I wanted to be able to pull off some of these leaves and throw them down in the water hole just to make it look a little more natural. This takes a little bit of the reflection off the water too. I don't want a ton of them in there, just a few. This is also a good branch to block the back of this off with. I think that looks pretty good right there. So got that one side blocked off a little bit. Got the food plot seed planted, some leaves and branches down in the water hole. I have about half a bucket of water here, so I'm going to use that just to dampen up the soil a little bit as I put the food plot seed on. I'm going to try and get the seed wet if I can. How good it'll work. At least give it a little jump start. All right, I'm gonna get the buckets and stuff packed up. I actually had to clean out a bunch of stuff from my Jeep to get all the water buckets and stuff in it. So I'm gonna run back to the house and grab my pole saw, some clips, or some accessory hooks to go hook up on the tree stand. I'm gonna grab the pole saw to cut down the vine so I can start the mock scrape. I also want to grab the rake and the shovel. Then I'll come back out and finish up this little area, and then I'll jump on the ATV and go start setting some trail cameras.